Something is nagging at me. Need to look at the case board. What if I take the weird doll to the place it's not supposed to go? What's the worst that can happen? Huh. They're actually kind of cute the longer you look at them. Makes sense.
Animals stayed away from the water's edge as if to avoid some unseen submerged predator waiting just below the dark surface. They never drank the water from the lake. Birds flew around it, never over. Darkness flowed from Cauldron Lake. Gaze in the black mirror of the lake, you'd see it all around you, and you'd understand it was already out, already where you were. It was already too late. Cauldron Lake used to be alive with people. Beautiful forests, hiking trails leading to stunning vistas. Then the government put up a fence, kept the people out. Volcanic gas, they said. They didn't want anyone knowing the truth. The lake wasn't a lake at all. The dark water a mask to hide the hungry, bottomless ocean below. A fence couldn't stop the flood that was coming. Nothing could. The return of the nightmare rising from the depths. When the government seized the land around Cauldron Lake and set up their laboratory there, Ilmo Koskela knew they knew something. Together with his brother, they felt obliged to take a look inside. The Federal Bureau of Control Security was a joke. The Koskelas walked in delivering coffee. Back in Watery, they pored over the stack of files they grabbed. The FBC was researching something in the lake, something they called the Shadow. Everyone who went into the lake came back a monster. Hartman had gone into the lake. He'd come back bad. The FBC had captured him, interrogated him. Based on his ravings, Barbara Jagger had gone into the lake as far back as the 60s. She'd come back bad. The writer, Alan Wake, had gone into the lake. He'd faced Jagger, pushed some mystic light switch into a hole in her chest, flicked the switch and gotten rid of her. If Wake ever came back, he was bound to be bad as well. Tor Anderson had lightning in his veins. This was rock and roll, baby. That Weaver girl had cast a spell on him. Tor would do anything she'd ask. Tor deserved this. Tor wanted this. She wanted the song, a gift. He had to get it for her. Afterwards, it was too late. Tor swung his hammer in frustration. The spark was gone. Black liquid clogged his mind. A bad trip. Tor fought it. He was strong. He'd never be taken. But the darkness could still drown him. Tor needed to warn someone. It was all happening again. Tom was back. Coming back. Tom would need help too if he was going to make it. But the brothers were too old to stop it this time. Tor had called someone. Someone who could help. The name escaped him. Drowned beneath dark water. Every night was bingo night at the Valhalla nursing home. Each time Rose drew a ball from the cage and called out its number, some of the residents shouted bingo, no matter what was on their cards. Some of them sat mute, their cards full, never calling out. Some of them would try to steal the ball from her. Some of them would chastise the others for acting out. It was like herding a clouder of cats. Rose didn't mind. She liked cats. She knew she was where she was supposed to be, with her little Vikings, waiting for the hero to come. Tonight, the residents were restless, more so than usual. Ati was wearing Blum's coveralls again. Tor stood by the phone. Too late. Rose saw the hammer in his hand. The garden lights started to flicker, the darkness and rain pressing against the windows. The time drew nigh. Rose woke up from another dream from her idol, another message. All through her morning routine, she was humming happily. So happily, she realized she was starting to forget what Alan had told her. Something about a hero who would come to save them all. And the hero... Rose frowned. This won't do, Rose Marigold. You know better than to forget. Something about knitwear. The hero... liked it? Rose nodded, determined. She'd use the knitwork to guide the hero to the secret stashes she had hid in the forest to help them. Knitwear to mark the spot. Alan will love that, she thought. Now she only needed the knitwork. Rose thought hard. Mandy May was always knitting. Mandy May would help her. The 81st Annual Deer Fest was just around the corner. Everyone in Bright Falls was bustling. There were banners to be hung, pies baked, deer masks sold. Bright Falls had made the top 100 American small-town lists for its modest, rustic charm. The town expected a lot of tourists this year, but a shadow hung over the Deer Fest preparations. The forecast promised rain. Fearful whispers promised more murders. The police were on high alert. Sheriff Breaker had deputies patrolling the streets at night. Bright Falls was no stranger to odd happenings, but to cancel Deerfest? Out of the question. The townsfolk were anxious, their anticipation mixed with fear. People had restless dreams. The lights seemed dimmer. Floodwater pressed in on the town, and the shadows poured in with it. Ilmo was nervous. His palms were clammy. He lowered his phone. Mulligan isn't picking up. Yako shook his head, pointed at his own phone. Same with Thornton. Ilmo didn't like it. No one was answering the phone at the workshop in Watery either. Something was up. It had to be the writer. Had to be. The Koskela brothers were crouching in the bushes across from the Elderwood Palace Lodge, its lights shining in the night. They couldn't wait any longer. The brothers knew Saga was in Watery visiting her trailer. Going now was their only chance to do this without hurting her. Ilmo stood up and a crowd of deer masks looked his way. Okay, this is it. The writer is the target. Take him down and it's all over. Only shoot the Fed if you have to. This is our big moment. We watch in the night. The crowd murmured the chant back to him. Ilmo turned his face to the hotel. He could see Saga's partner in the window. Ilmo slapped his brother on the shoulder. The brothers donned their masks. The cult of the tree was ready. It's 1988, a face-off between deities on the rim of Cauldron Lake, high above its dark waters. Thunder roared, the old gods facing something even more powerful, something harder to define even. Or, changing the perspective, raving lunatics all, caught up in the frenzy of a shared delusion. The old gods, the corsairs of the Sea of Night, and the Dark One who yearned to stand in between, who had always stood in between, who would soon stand in between. We help you, you stay away from our family, Tor Anderson snarled over the thunder. Yes, until you all come to me, came the answer. That's never gonna happen, shouted Odin. I will take this as collateral, shall you remember our deal, said the Dark One. Blood arched from Odin's face as he fell to his knees. Lightning hit the dark figure on the cliff, and with that, he was gone. Tor rushed to his brother. Are you alright, bro? Effectively blind in that moment, the eye patch covering his left eye, his hand over the now empty socket of his right, blood oozing out of it. Odin cursed. The bastard took the wrong eye.
Up next, we had a guest lined up. I have it written down here somewhere. What's this say? Jim Figamore. Figamore? Figamore. I know that name from somewhere, but... Oh, the line's lighting up, so that could be him. Hello, you're on with Pat Maine.
Hey, it's Terry. I'm at the Elderwood Palace Lodge, and there's been a shootout. FBI everywhere. I think somebody's dead. I was working the front desk when bullets just started flying. I had to hide under my desk.
Oh, gosh, Terry. Clearly a bit of embellishment on your part. But it sounds like maybe Russ Hammond's been hunting quail in the off-season again.
Quail? You're not listening. They shut up the whole damn hotel. And that's not all. I swear to sweet Jesus Murphy, I saw Alan Wake walk in before it all happened.
Alan Wake? Now, is that one of Mandy May's kids?
Alan fucking Wake, Pat, the writer. You've talked about him on the show. He disappeared years ago.
Disappeared, you say? Okay, this is all coming together now. See, people were calling in about Wendy Davis going missing, but it sounds like they have her confused with this Alan Walker fellow you're talking about. Terry, you were there last Sunday at the market selling those cuckoo clocks when I came to visit, remember?
Pat, no.
And who was selling beef jerky in that stall next to yours? Wendy Davis. Davis Family Beef Jerky. Now, how can she be selling me beef jerky on Sunday and be missing since 2010? It's ridiculous.
Wendy's fucking dead. I'm talking about Alan Wake. Jesus, Pat. This is serious. I'm trying to put the warning out. There's something wild going on. I gotta go in case they come back.
Okay, that was Jim Figamore, everybody, and he'll be running for mayor this... Wait, no, that was... Anyway, that's our show for today. Anyway, here's another song from Kathy's grandson, Daryl.
I have things to do, and this is not the right way. Another one of those cult boxes.
Back at Witch's Ladle, Saga pointed the flashlight at the strange, dark substance. The same substance Nightingale had left at the morgue. There was something hidden under it. She strained to see. The opposite of sunspots in her eyes. Blacker than black. Suddenly a change. The light reacted to the substance. A feedback loop, surging up her arm. Saga squeezed the flashlight, willing it to penetrate the dark matter. Burn it away.
Another one of those cult boxes.
mother and her hatchling only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchling only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchling only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchling only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchling only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright. Caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchling only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchling only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchling only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchling only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take. loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye, and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchlings only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye and told her not to stand out in the light too bright. Only trying to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, made a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchling only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchling only tried to survive. When a tricky witch opened a way into the dark lake, our hero, against all caution, did a bold step take, away from the sun which would make her blind to all that she could see. On our hero, the faraway father still kept an eye and told her not to stand out in the light too bright, while the loving mother and her hatchling only tried.
What the?
Hello, are you receiving me?
Who is this? How do you know I'm here?
I've been monitoring your incessant tampering with my project. You have made some advantageous progress, however.
What project?
What project? So you've just been playing around with my test arrangements with absolutely no understanding of their function. The hubris.
Indeed.
But your interference with my research has come to its conclusion, and I'm interested to see the results. The trick, I believe, is in the manifestation of the nursery rhymes. Art becoming reality, the doorway being revealed, and perhaps even someone entering it.
Get to the point.
Middleton and rude, I see. The point is that by your unwanted actions, you may have opened the way. And now I'll get to observe what exactly occurs when a subject crosses the threshold. No, wait, that's not right. What is that? Do you see that?
What? Hello? Hey, are you there? Sounds like this person got more than they bargained for. Ugh, this stuff again. There's something else in there, too. This will be handy. The FBC is definitely playing with things they don't fully understand. And that always goes well. There's a lesson here. Probably something about hubris. Man in lab coat messes around and finds out. Called it.
In one fluid motion, Saga cracked open the shotgun, sending the empty hulls flying over her shoulder, and slammed the new shells in faster than she had imagined possible. Aiming through the scope, Saga could see the flickering darkness that protected the Taken, saw it waver and jerk, saw a shifting opening in it. There, she fired, sending the bullet through to find its way home. Saga stood still, emptying her mind, focusing, breathing in, breathing out. She aimed the rifle, ready for the kill shot. Saga fired the rifle, hit the Taken again, pulled back the bolt to reload. She fired again, another hit, faster, again, yet faster, again. A strange, lethal feedback loop forming, speeding up.
never gonna get used to this.
Signed it. Dated. Damn door. Custody. See it all.
They think they're so mysterious with their ridiculous masks. Children in costumes. They think they're so mysterious with their ridiculous masks. Children in costumes.
Scratch was closing in, gaining control. I couldn't let him escape the dark place. I had to keep him from Alice. Alice had turned the bathroom into a darkroom.
For months after Ellen died, I didn't leave the apartment. I was flattened by the confusion, the shock, the guilt, fear. I could barely get out of bed. Barry Wheeler started visiting. He even cooked me meals. I couldn't stand the guy when I first met him, but he's a better friend than I gave him credit for. And he still checks in. Even after he moved out west.
Alice's work had consumed the apartment. Her whole life.
One morning, I saw a deer soar past my bedroom window. It was a balloon of some cartoon animal. And I looked out at the street below, and I saw a little girl crying. Like losing that balloon had just ended her whole world. It was the perfect image of the horror of caring. And that's when I got myself out of bed. And I picked up my camera. There was something in the dark. Something I needed to see, to show. The more shadows I photographed and filmed, the more I felt like I was on the verge of a breakthrough. I submerged myself in it. I only went out at night. My search became obsessive, but I still had no idea what I was looking for. There's a world hidden behind ours. A dark tide ebbing and flowing against reality. Faces in the shadows. Fear of the dark is really just fear of what could be, that vast, paralyzing ocean. But photography can freeze reality in a snapshot. Put a cage around the infinite and capture it. I need to prove those faces are really there.
I needed to get inside the manuscript. Manuscript of a novel. Return. A horror story about the dark presence escaping from the dark place, taking over Bright Falls. I couldn't remember writing it. I had not written it. I would never write this. I knew who had. Scratch. A monster with my face. If this story came true, Scratch would get out, people would die. Destroying the manuscript, it wouldn't stop it from happening. I would have to fix it, edit it. I could not change the genre of the story. I'd have to work within the constraints set by Scratch. I needed someone in the story to fight the darkness. Saga Anderson. I kept seeing her in my visions. She was already in Bright Falls, already involved, but she was not in Return. Not yet. I'd write her in. Try to stop Scratch within the limits of the horror story. It was almost impossible. It was taking too long. I had not reached the end.
Some say that it moves forever, this road that I lose you on every time. Some say that it moves forever, this road. Some say that it moves forever, this road that I lose you on every time. Some say that it moves forever, this road. It's not meant for me. The meant only for you, I see. Wake up, it's only a dream on a winding road. Now they're in my bed, in the dark chamber of my head. I flip you over until you bend this winding road. Don't you ever let me go. Forever play and pretend. Forever, never wanting it to end. This message that you send to this winding road, it's just the beginning, only the ending. Winding through you now. Just the beginning, only the ending. Winding through you now. Only the end. Winding through you now. Only the end. Only the end. Winding through you now. Only the end. Forever.
Scratch stopped me before I could finish my edits to the manuscript. The memory of my edits was already fading. Terrible things would happen if the manuscript came true. Scratch was there, at Parliament Tower, undoing my work. He could use the story to escape. He could go after Alice. Zane had said we worked on Return together. That was a lie. Scratch wrote Return. I would pay Zane another visit. He had guided me to 2 murder sites. I needed a new one to get back to Parliament Tower. A new draft of initiation. I needed a new draft of the story. One that would get me ahead of Scratch. I don't have time for this, so let's get it over with. Tell me, was this all fake? A show?
No one said otherwise, Mr. Wake. It was to indulge you, but we can stop pretending now.
Masks come off.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. I don't even think you know who's under your mask, but you know how to make things difficult for yourself. All these rules, endless, convoluted loops you insist on going through. You are so lucky, you know. There are so many people helping you. Armies of people. Myself. Your wife.
Alice. I need to get to her. She's in danger.
She is. Because of you. And so is someone important to me, someone you pulled into this. You keep opening doors. Peeking in. Reaching through to get what you want, and that puts you in my path.
I don't know what you're talking about. I have to go now.
Maybe you will make it through this time. This has gone on long enough. This and our Night Springs. It was a nice distraction.
It's time someone gave me a straight answer here.
The next time we meet, the circumstances will be very different. And you would do well to return the favor by playing your part. Or stay out of my way, Mr. Wake.
Whatever you say. Door, Zane, the masks were finally coming off. Was it a sign I was closer to escaping? I had no time to waste. couldn't get in. I was missing something.
Here is the light at the end of the tunnel.
Jumalauta, that held you close, Tom. Mutta onward, said the granny in the snow. When the panic is biggest, the help is also near.
Door didn't seem happy to see me this time.
Fearing the master is the root of wisdom. But don't let the game get you down. He's playing his role. Maybe put him in your films, Tom, like you have put me. Sehän olisikin.
What films?
I'm a fan of your masterworks. There is Tom the Poet, my favorite, and Yö is the most famous one, of course. And is it true what I hear, that it's coming back to cinemas soon? Is there a bottom to this rumor?
I need to get back to my apartment. Can you help me?
Well, plan is half done. You asked me to make sure you won't forget mikä se valokuva oli? The light pictures. The photos you artist wife took. They are waiting in the shoebox in the basement. What you leave behind, you find in front of you.
Okay. Thanks, Adi.
I'm looking forward to seeing Yö in the cinema. But first I work. And the work won't end even when you do it, perkele. Ei siinä. One potato at a time. Just remember, Tom, the brave will eat the pea soup.